Today we have Sarah Haggard, who's going to talk to us about modern mentorship and the art of storytelling. And let's see, in the chat window, I've already kicked it off with a bit of an intro there. So let us know what kind of work you do. You don't have to be an IT pro because everyone is welcome. And where you are on social media. How can people connect with you if they're interested? Where in general you live. I'm in the Seattle area here, but we pull people. We have someone here from England. And if you're going to go to any events, right now there are a lot of virtual things happening. So I put 2 in there that I'm going to. The Seattle Wit Regatta is going to be available for anybody because it's all virtual. And also the women or the Workplace Ninja Summit, which is in Switzerland timing, but everybody's welcome for that. So a great way to connect with people at events. For this call, feel free to use the chat window. We often have very lively conversation going on there. If you have questions, you can pop them in there, and that way we can keep track of them. There may be some times when we say, hey, just turn off the mute if you can, or if not, just stay in chat. And we also have a Women IT Pros group on LinkedIn. You have to request membership, but we'll let anybody in, including allies. Everyone's welcome. So if that resolves, I'm not actually sure if that link will resolve properly, but just WIT Pros, Women IT Pros is the name, all one word, on LinkedIn. Upcoming calls, or upcoming events, actually, I should say. So August 14th, we're going to do another meetup in AltSpace VR. They've updated their avatars so you can have like cooler stuff, better clothes, more interesting hair. So you don't need a VR headset, just join us. And I posted something on LinkedIn that shows how to get into AltSpace VR without a headset if you're interested. The Asia Pacific meeting is on the last Thursday of the month, which is Wednesday, 7 p.m. for us in Pacific time. I don't know what their topic is going to be, but watch for it on Twitter and LinkedIn. And then our next US meeting is going to be on August 28th at noon, and we're going to talk about, actually I said mentorship. I must have been thinking mentorship from today. It's actually going to be allyship with Ava Helen. And I believe Europe is taking August off, but they'll be back in September, and watch for their meetings on LinkedIn as well. So we always have this slide because we really want to encourage you to connect with people in the community. So, get a mentor, be a mentor. There is also a way to join an accountability group, which we sometimes call a textable tribe, as Donna Sarkar calls it. And we really hype the Community Mentors app. Well, our speaker today is going to tell you all about that app. And, we just really encourage the connection in the community. So if you haven't downloaded yet, do that. And especially after you hear today's call, you're going to really want to do that. And at the end, we will ask you to take a brief survey. Just let us know how we're doing. I'll put it in the chat window a couple of times throughout the call there. One more thing, just wanted to mention that, this is a grassroots open source initiative. I do happen to work for Microsoft, but I don't represent the opinions of Microsoft. The individuals presenting here are expressing their opinions. And, we're just trying to share our experience and bring people together into community. So with that, I'm going to introduce Sarah Haggard, who is the founder and CEO at Tribute, which makes that amazing mentor app. Formerly at Microsoft, BS in anthropology and an MBA from Seattle University. And she enjoys entertaining and spending times outdoors in Seattle when I'm sure we can get outdoors in Seattle. So Sarah, let me go ahead and turn it over to you.
Awesome. All right. So good morning, good evening, wherever you are dialing in the world. Yeah, this is a real honor to be here. So thank you, Kathy, for inviting me to this community. And of course, I see Shona on the call as well, who's been with us kind of on this journey for over a year now. We met, probably last April when Tribute was just an idea kind of on a piece of paper. So it's been quite fun over the last year to not only bring the Community Mentors app to this community, but we've also, on Monday of this week, we actually released Tribute 3.0. So for any developers on the phone, that's 30 releases of Tribute, 30 in the last year. So we've kept ourselves quite busy learning from this community, learning from our user base, how to keep making this app more usable and more impactful to this community. As Kathy mentioned, I spent 10 years working at Microsoft before I left to found and run Tribute. I was always in on more of the marketing side but in product marketing. So spent my career in the Windows world and have done a lot of different IT Pro initiatives over time. This is truly, I would say, for me, exciting to be participating in this community because we didn't always have women in IT Pro communities coming up, at least in my time when I spent time at Microsoft. So this is actually pretty cool. But my talk for today, or why I wanted to come and present today, not only just to say hi to you and make a personal connection as women to women in IT, but also what I want to do is start with kind of explaining a little bit more. If you haven't downloaded the Community Mentors app or you're not familiar with what's Tribute's unique philosophy on mentorship, I want to get you familiar with that. I want to do a demo of the latest app release because some of you who may have downloaded this app a year ago may not be familiar with all of the changes that we've made, and there's a lot more feature functionality today than there was a year ago. And then from there, really the bulk of our time together, if you have a pen and paper handy, if you don't, maybe grab one. But this is a how to tell your story workshop, and we've done this workshop with men, women, folks all over the globe. But because Tribute leads with storytelling, a lot of times I get asked from people, well, what's my story? What do I have to share? And I think especially when we're in more technical careers, it can feel like, well, no, here's my list of, languages that I'm proficient in and all of my certifications and, here's my title. And that can be one way to connect for mentorship, but we offer an alternative way, which is really more adding color to your lived experiences and journey coming up into your own career, being an IT professional. So that's what we'll spend our time today. And then we'll wrap with, again, a call to action around join us in the Community Mentors app. Because there's only 12 of us here. This is a small group, at least live. Like, I would definitely encourage you to come off mute, ask me questions. If you've got feedback on your experience so far with the Community Mentors app, this is the content we've prepared for you, but really this is your time. So if there's, feedback you want to give us, Shona or myself, on how to make this program better, like, we're all ears because we're here to serve you. So let me go ahead and just share my screen and we'll jump right into our slides and demo. All right. I think you guys can see my slides here. Just Kathy, if you want to maybe just validate, I always like to double check.
Yep, looks great.
Awesome. Okay, so I thought maybe I would start with what, a little bit of a primer about Tribute and sort of our philosophy. And I think, why Shona was initially attracted to partnering with us for this Humans of IT community is really that we believe that personal stories actually create that stronger connection between mentee, mentor. And they really allow us to come from a point of inspiration when we're looking to connect with people. They also help us bridge differences. So, having a different, how you got into IT versus how I got into IT, my cultural background, what languages I speak, all of that richness that we have to ourselves as human beings tends to sometimes get lost. Especially in technical mentoring programs. And so we really, think that humanizing IT and humanizing the stories of the women and men in IT is really something that's going to help us create, more connected mentorship experiences. So we lead with personal storytelling, and that's our connection point. And I think, again, Shona, feel free to come off mute, but or add anything here, but I don't want to speak for you, but I think that's really what drew us to each other for choosing Tribute as the company to power the Community Mentors application for this community. How it works, I'll just give you a primer and then I just want to show it to you because that's always more fun than me talking at you. But how this works essentially is we've really taken a human-centered design approach. So we, really thought through how do we meet each other in our real lives and how can we use tech not to replace those connections, but to really facilitate them in a very natural way that we're already used to connecting with people. So you can essentially find a mentor or a mentee in our app one of three ways. You can swipe through to discover people, and I'll show you, we lead with that story. Because we really think storytelling is that age-old way of sharing wisdom. And it's that inspiration point. Also, everybody has a story, right? And once you know people's stories, you tend to feel more connected to them. You can follow somebody over time. So you can get to, maybe I read your story and I'm really intrigued by your journey, but I don't have a mentorship need immediately. You can get to know someone over time. We enable a way for you to post reflections in the app. So that's a way for you to offer your mentorship, if you will, to the community without always having to take on a one-to-one mentorship relationship, and getting again to get into getting to know the community over time. And then we have this concept of networks. So similar to Teams, Teams channels, right? We offer an ability in the app itself to create these community networks. One of the most recent ones that I'm particularly excited about is the Women in Cyber community that's led by Ryan. Shona was able to get that coordinated. And I think, cybersecurity is the hottest job in tech right now, and we need more women. I mean, I think we all know we need more women in this career. So that's an opportunity for you to, participate in that group discussion to offer group mentorship. So it's not just, we offer multiple modalities, if you will, for how to find a mentor in the app today. I'll just pause here. Is anybody actively using our app that wants to, raise your hand or share or add any comments of your experience so far before I jump in? Because this is really can be interactive too. So.
Well, I'm using it and I love it. I love the mental health network on there. I am someone who has struggled with depression all my life, and it's just nice knowing that there's some people that I can talk with out there. I've had a couple of mentoring requests, and I was actually just thinking, oh gosh, I really should reach out to someone about this thing I'm working on right now.
Yep, I'm right there with you, Kathy. I mean, I've definitely dealt with a lifetime of anxiety. Is my type A. It's like either because I'm a type A Capricorn, or just dealing with anxiety. But definitely it's nice to find that solidarity with others as well, and to know you're not alone in your experience. I think that's the most powerful part of community building as well, and why we look at community as such an integral part of mentorship as well. All right, I'm going to show you the latest product. So we did release Tribute 3.0 on Monday. So I would encourage you to go and update your app. If you haven't downloaded Tribute yet, we'll give you QR codes to do that, and you'll have the latest release. But if you are on an older version, you definitely want to make sure you're on 3.0 because this is where you'll be able to get all of the features that I'll show you here now. So when you do log in, the caveat, of course, you need to make sure that whatever email address you're using, you've already signed up for the Humans of IT community on the website in that forum. And then once you do that, you take that same email address, you put Microsoft Humans of IT in the community name, and then you use that same email address to log in. And once you do that, you'll be guided through an onboarding experience to create your profile. Once you've completed your profile, you'll land on this discovery home view here. And this is really where we've optimized, you to find either mentors or mentees. So you can swipe through and read people's stories. We actually have over 1,300 people that are in the Community Mentors program today. So that's quite a lot. You probably won't be able to read through every single person's story swiping through. So another way that you can find what you're looking for in the app is to go to the upper right-hand corner to this filter. And this is where we now offer a variety of different ways for you to kind of search for what you're looking for. In addition to the leading with storytelling, Tribute's other differentiator is that we lead also with this concept of finding mentors based on shared life experiences. So it's not just a skill-based mentorship. Now, you'll notice we do have professional skills down here. So if you are looking for a particular skill-based mentorship, you can absolutely do that as well. But these life experiences, and I think particularly as women, this is important to us because we bring our whole selves to work, right? Whether it's I just am a returning parent to the workforce, whether it's I feel like I'm the only woman in the room, whether it's I'm part of that sandwich generation that's taking care of kids and my parents, right? But I think uniquely as women, we tend to take on a lot in our lives and outside of work too. And those experiences that we have in and around our careers can be places where we can find support and solidarity with each other. And these life experiences really start to reflect some of those things that we deal with, right? I'm myself 32 weeks pregnant, startup CEO in the tech world, running a startup in a global pandemic. Definitely was not on my 5-year plan, but here I am. And when I meet other moms, especially entrepreneur moms, who can walk me through what their maternity plan looks like and how they dealt, being a leader, like a CEO, where you always have to be on, but yet you need to take that time for yourself. And how do you deal with that? Is a current real world example for me where I'm looking for mentorship on that, right? But it's not like I need to learn how to be a CEO or I need to learn a particular harder skill. It's just share with me your experience of walking this path before me. And that's something that's really unique, I think, about Tribute's approach to mentorship and what we get to bring to the Community Mentors program. Those experiences, by the way, are also custom. So meaning they're flexible. So if there's an experience that you have that you don't see represented in the app today, it's super easy for Shona to go in and add that experience. So that's just another thing too. If you see something that's not there that you would like it to be there, let us know and we can easily do that. We talked about the professional skills. That's really, again, skill-based mentorship. And then finally, we offer, because we have the community groups within the app, so now you could, let's say you were a woman working in cybersecurity and you wanted to find another woman to be your mentor, you could actually filter down that story card view to just the other women in cyber. And then that's a really great way for you to find each other over common interests because you both participate in the group, or similar with the mental health group too, right? You could filter down via that way as well. So those are the ways that you can self-navigate through the app today to find what you're looking for. On Monday's release with 3.0, we also released a new feature called Featured Stories. And so we're going to be now, it's our first AI-powered feature, which we're kind of excited. But we will be, based on your story and lived experiences, be recommending a set of featured stories to you once a week. So you'll get a fresh new batch of people that we think you would be really well matched to meet. And that's just going to get served up to you. You don't have to do anything on that front. Once you find a story that you really are connected with, you can go ahead and view that person's profile. And what's really great is you can request mentorship from that person, but we've also just introduced a way for you to offer mentorship as well. So depending on where you are in your career, what you're looking to get out of this community, we've actually seen quite a big uptake on the offer feature, because a lot of times mentors will get paired with mentees. Some administrator or somebody will say, oh, I think you'd be a great mentor to so-and-so. And a lot of times we've heard from mentors that while they appreciate you sort of doing the work for them of matching them, they don't always have that connection point either. And so, really allowing this two-way exchange for the mentors to come in, to read your story, to be inspired by the path you've walked, and to say, hey, I know what that was like. I can actually offer my mentorship on this particular thing and help you out. So you can go both ways. And when you do make a request or an offer, the thing to know with Tribute is also that we are really geared around micro mentorship. So this is going to be for a period of 30 days. And you can extend it beyond that 30 days. But what's nice about it is you're not locked into a year-long commitment, or, gosh, maybe what I have is just really this need for right now that I just want to talk to somebody about. I don't need to necessarily sign up for a 6-month-long engagement. I know initially with the Humans of IT Community Mentors program, those were 90-day cohorts and cycles. And so, we do encourage, when you do have a match, to stay in that pairing for those 90 days, but that's determined between you and your mentee. And certainly you can always take the relationship off the platform and, and find yourself a lifetime friend as well. So that's how you send the request. As you mentor others in the community, you will get upvoted by your mentees for certain leadership attributes. You get to show these leadership attributes or badges on your profile. And then, of course, you can always dive into someone's LinkedIn experience. So we found through all of our, our activity in the last year, 9 out of 10 times people will click on your LinkedIn before they'll make a request from you. So we do encourage you to just make sure your profile does include your LinkedIn profile, because people really do want to still see that, yes, you're a real person. And yes, here's your background, it's sort of a validation point. But I like that we don't lead with it, because it allows us to humanize our stories and lead with that. This message feature is coming in the fall, so I'm going to give you a little teaser here, but this is an ability for you to maybe send a message to somebody before you decide, hey, maybe let's have an exchange back and forth before we decide if we're going to be matched together. You can also, as I mentioned, follow people. So by clicking on the star, that person will get a notification that you're following them. And on the community tab within the app, this is where you can post those reflections. So you can post words of wisdom, Monday motivation post, whatever that may be. That's going to get posted, and anybody who's following you is going to see that reflection in their feed. And then you'll be able to see the reflections of those you follow in the feed as well. We just, based on Shona's feedback, which was great, and also from this community, launched an ability for you to applaud people's reflections, so you can show kind of solidarity and support of one another. And then again, that message capability is coming this fall, where maybe you post a reflection. I'm really intrigued by what you shared. Let's talk some more. Let's see if there's a match here, right? That's the intent behind that. And then on the backside of community, this is where you can access all of those networks. So the mental health network, the women in cyber network. When you go into these networks, this is really aimed at, again, just like the teams, communities, Facebook groups you participate in, this is an opportunity for you to ask a question and to receive group mentorship from the whole, right? So you can see who's in the group, you can add posts, you can applaud, you can reply, have nested chats here. So these are the groups feature in the app as well. And then really from here on the mentorship tab, this is a bit of some futures here mixed with current reality, but we are working real time on a real-time feature that will come back to this community when it's live, but it's called Beacon internally, and we're thinking about how can we enable a way for you to do a real-time call and response, right? So let's say like I've got an urgent need and I just want to send out a call like, hey, who's available to me right now to help me walk through this particular issue? And we're going to be using asynchronous video as a way to, be able to put out that call and get multiple responses so that you can have just-in-time mentorship, not always real time. We know as a global community, certainly there's folks that are sleeping when you're awake, and we want to enable that global community to be able to help each other and be able to access each other's wisdom. And this is one way of us being able to do that. So that's a futures feature. But otherwise today, the tab really here on mentorship allows you to see, when somebody requests mentorship from you, what does that really look like? You're going to get a note from them. You're also going to see what shared life experiences you have with that person. And that's actually kind of very unique as well. We want to grease the wheel, right? You might have more in common with this person, this mentee or mentor, than you knew, and this will help you understand that. And then you've got mentorship offers as well. We did just add a notification center. I know it's small stuff, but it's exciting for us because it helps you keep track of all of your activity in the app, so you no longer have to kind of self-navigate. We're making this much more usable, so you'll notice that that's also new in the app. And then on your profile, this is where you can also, as you're following people, not only do you get to see their reflections over time, but let's say you're following someone who doesn't really post reflections, but you really liked their story, and now it's time, you have a mentorship need, and you want to go back to who you followed as a starting point, right? I don't want to start fresh in the discovery. I've already followed a set of people. Why don't I go back to them to see, if I could ask them for mentorship? This is where you can see who you're following right here, and then who's following you. So really easy way from your profile to get back to those sort of earmarked people in your mind of, okay, these people might be great mentors or mentees for me. So that's the 3.0 updates that we have. We have a lot more coming, but this is already quite different from the experience. Maybe if you came in a year ago to the Community Mentors program, you probably saw a lot of changes in the app. So I'll just pause there before I jump back into content, because again, I want this to be interactive. Any questions, thoughts? Folks want to?
There've been a lot of questions in the chat, but Shauna's been fielding all of those. So
I can't see that. So.
But does somebody want to come off mute with a question you haven't asked yet?
Yeah, there's only 15 of us, so this is manageable. Ah, yes, ETA for desktop. Okay, let me show you what desktop. I've got it pulled up so I could preview. I forgot about that. Da, 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 da. These are the fun calls. This is the preview of of what Tribute Desktop is going to look like. So I'll call out a few things. We're going to be defaulting you on the community tab here instead of the discovery. Not to say that you can't, I mean, we've got a discovery view here with a carousel. We'll have a lot more coming here, but we really wanted to default to the community experience so that way you could get right into those group discussions with one another. I did just chat with the Teams BD team this morning. They do have APIs that we can access that will allow us to, and again, in this community, it's tough because I don't know if we have an open Teams channel. Teams is still kind of, more of an enterprise internal, but for, for some of our internal deployments, what's kind of cool is we'll be able to take these kind of networks and be able to access, be able to push notifications back to Teams channels that allow us to be informed on when there's activity here in Tribute, when you're also participating in Teams channels inside your organization, for example. But this is what a group's going to look like. We're going to institute, this is also a feature that was driven by this community, by Shona, which is give me topic tags. So maybe I just want to be in a London group of women IT pros, but we have a variety of topics and things that we want to talk about. Give me topic tags that I can add to a post, and then I can just click on them and I can jump right into that discussion versus having to jump around and bounce around different channels, if you will, or community groups. So that's on the communities here. The mentorship tab, you've got a lot more real estate here. So you can see, your inbound, outbound requests. You can see all of your direct messages. We do have a way today in both the mobile app, this is live, but will also be accessible in desktop. An ability when you match with a mentee, they're invited to set goals for that time that they spend with you. And so on the mentor side, you definitely want to say, hey, happy to meet for the first time. Let's swap stories. But then before our next meeting, can you please go in and set some goals so that we have an anchor point for this discussion, in this mentorship together. And that's where you can access them and what that really looks like. Lots more on this front too. This fall, we'll also be giving more prescriptive guidance. We've partnered with the Center for Mentoring Excellence, and they've got a 6-step process of how each mentorship, the stages that it should go through. So we've done video content at each of those stages, and then we're going to basically give you kind of I'm calling it like a battery bar is the best way to visualize it, but a kind of status bar of how you're progressing in your mentorship along those 6 steps. So we'll have more prescriptive guidance on how to hey, what do I do as the mentor? What does the mentee do? So you don't have to think about it and structure it uniquely every time. It's just a little more easy for you. And then you've got this discovery. Again, this is that carousel, looks very similar to the mobile experience here, notifications and your profile, which I know we had a lot of requests from people who said, hey, I don't want to tell my story on a phone. give me a web app so I can actually type this thing out. So this is coming in the fall as well with the Community Mentors app. So you'll have that in addition to the mobile app as options today.
Very exciting.
Yeah, we're pretty exciting. I was sharing with Kathy before we started, we're about a week away from raising our first $1 million. And so it's quite a milestone for female startup CEOs. A lot of us don't make it this far, but being able to partner with this community, have supporters like Shona early on have made it possible for us to be able to even bring this product to market and to keep making it better, which is really, I love also that she's practicing what she preaches to. We're humans of IT community focused on, diversifying the IT landscape, and we've partnered with a female-led organization to do the mentorship program. So I love it. It's very meta and close to my heart. There are discussion groups in your in the app today. And Shona, I don't know if you want to walk through. I think there's the mental health group and then cyber, and then you have these textable tribes. I don't know if you want to talk about how to join those, but I'll let you maybe answer that.
Today we have 2 network groups. So as Sarah mentioned, we have one that's focused on mental health because that's just a topic a lot of people have requested for. And the other one is, women in cybersecurity careers, because a lot of people are looking to transition into, or just finding a way to get anywhere into cybersecurity as a space. So if that's something you're interested in, you know, it doesn't matter if you're from a non-traditional tech background. These folks here are amazing role models who can show you how, like, you don't need to have a traditional tech background. Like Ryan was a military veteran, and she joined Microsoft, you know, after serving frontline Afghanistan, and now she works today as an identity architect manager. So she's on there to answer any questions you might have. You know, just be upfront. Like, if there's anything on your mind that makes you think like, I don't know if I'm good enough for this role, we just challenge you to go in there, ask your questions, and you'll be surprised at the amount of support you will be getting. So the other thing we have is the accountability groups that Sarah mentioned. And this is something that was based off Donna Sakar when she talked about textable tribes, right? When you're looking for a community, you want a group that is there for you to just kind of keep you accountable, help you feel supported in your career journey. So if that's something you're looking for, we are helping bring people together through these groups. If you go to the network page, you'll see we have 5 open groups right now. So if you're interested, just add yourself to any one of them. And then once we've hit the capacity per group, we'll close it, and then we'll leave it up to you to kind of build those relationships. Kathy and I are in the same textable tribe, and it's been great so far. You know, at any time you just have something on your mind, you want to bounce off other people, it's just a great place to feel like there are people listening and where you can get support. So definitely check it out. Don't feel like you're alone in any of this. Mary's, I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly, but you had a great suggestion around building wait lists for popular mentors. Sarah, she was saying, like, is there any way you can get notified if a popular mentor is done with the 30-day window, and then, you know, so that someone can follow up with them after? We have a follow feature right now, right?
We do have the follow feature. Yeah, there isn't a way to do that today, but that's definitely, I mean, I think having a wait list or getting on, you know, because now also that's something I failed to mention that I should mention. When you create your profile today, this wasn't there initially, you can actually set how many mentees or mentors you can take on at one time. And so you can actually now, when we launched, it was a 5, everybody could have up to 5, and you couldn't gauge that down to say, hey, maybe I can only take on 1 right now, or maybe none. And so, yeah, if you are somebody who's, you know, got 2 slots available and those 2 slots are taken, then your request button will be grayed out. So I think what I'm hearing is how to actually have a way to put a notification when that person, that, you know, whether they're popular or whether you particularly want to work with them, when they're available is what I heard. And yeah, that's definitely doable and easy in the app. And then I think, yeah, so the discussion groups and desktop version, those will mirror the groups, whatever groups that Shona and team decide to create, that'll be mirrored in both the mobile and desktop experience. So it won't be a set of different groups per se. They'll be in both experiences.
So just one thing I wanted to dig into a little bit, like Shona or Danica was asking about the cost. And so you're a platform, and then Microsoft has contracted with the Tribute platform to offer the Humans of IT community. Is that right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then other companies or other organizations could also say, hey, I want to use Tribute as my way to do mentorship. But you know, that would be a separate thing, and that there would be obviously a fee for that because you're a company in business. But to join Humans of IT, there's no cost. That's just free to everybody,
Yep.
right?
Shona has made this community available for free, and that, you know, so kudos to Shona. But yes,
we are democratizing community connections, and we just want to give everyone access. So if this is something you're looking for, we highly encourage you to try it out. There will be different companies trying out different mentorship apps for various instances, or it could be event specific. But for us, this is something we want to make it available all year round. So definitely check it out.
yep.
And Maurice was asking, is Humans of IT Microsoft only? It's hosted by Microsoft, but it's not restricted to Microsoft, right?
Yes,
Yep.
It is a public community that Microsoft owns. So yes, anyone can join.
Yep. And we encourage, yeah, I mean, we encourage students to join. We encourage people at all levels in their professional, you know, career, just because it is a pretty rare opportunity to have such a diverse community of IT professionals across company. You just don't see that very often. And so the fact that Microsoft is sponsoring this community is actually really huge, because it eliminates the friction of cost, complexity, where do I go, who's out there, all of those questions, you've got a community that you can go to, which is great. And so one other question I got around, can users spin up groups? That's definitely been something that we've been asked. And I think we're just looking to make sure that we've got the right implementation of that. So that way the admins have control if and when there were to be like an inappropriate group that was spun up, that they could intervene. But that's really the only, we need to just make sure that we architect that feature correctly. But I see that as only upside of being able to allow users to spin up their own communities as well, because that just, again, puts more control in your hands to self-organize and find what you're looking for and create the communities that you want to create that serve you. So that's on our radar as well. All right, so I'll jump into, I know we've got 20 minutes left, which is actually good timing because this doesn't take the exercise that we have planned for today around how to tell your story. So now hopefully you've gotten a sense of, okay, what is this tribute thing? What is the community mentors program? Maybe, you've downloaded the app and now you're going, okay, so you told me you lead with storytelling, and okay, how do I tell my story? Like, what story am I going to tell? So the exercise that we've got for us to round us out for today is going to give you some, a way for you to think about how to tell your story if you haven't already done this. I think, I'll just tee this up to say that, again, we believe you have all these incredible benefits of leading with storytelling, which I know is kind of counterintuitive, particularly in technical, forums and communities. But, we really see all these benefits from being able to bring your authentic self to work, being able to encourage a growth mindset. One of the interesting things, on the neuroscience front, storytelling actually activates parts of your brain that can help you make different decisions. So, at Microsoft, when I was there, we always said, the Steve Ballmer was sort of this romance your products, right? And we always kind of thought that was a funny way to say it, but it's true. Creating an emotional connection with a customer or one another can actually change your mind, whereas data, logic, all of that won't. And so I think that's where you get into being able to have a growth mindset, certainly creating a culture of inclusion and belonging. That's what the Humans of IT community is all about. And I think one of the best things about this community is there is a fundamental sense of psychological safety that you get in this community because people are vulnerably sharing in a trusted space. And that not only unlocks, I would say, our ability to access our own creativity and our own innovative thinking, which can help us solve some of today's toughest technological problems, but it just gives us that core sense of safety and belonging that we're all kind of looking for, right? In the world. And so this is a community that you get to immediately join and have that core sense. The other thing that's kind of interesting too, and especially when I talk to other organizations as well, is this is from Deloitte's Human Capital Trends report that really does show through data, not just this is what we'd like to see the future of work look like, but the workplace is absolutely becoming more human. You're seeing these shifts along these X and Y axes from work just being a place where we only focus on the professional, only think about top-down, company-driven, HR-driven initiatives when it comes to mentoring and such. When we used to have conversations about work-life balance, whatever the hell that is, now we're starting to have conversations about the employee experience and, human experience. And so I think, honestly, the Humans of IT community is already on the bleeding edge of what we're seeing trend across all of, globally. This is a global study, not just US based, but I think in this world and in this reality, knowing your story is becoming increasingly important because that's your personal brand and really what allows you to, I would say, transcend a lot of the hierarchies that we may face in our own careers that say, well, I can't really access this particular person or this role until I get to this kind of level of experience or credential. And I think we're kind of sort of like, you're seeing all over the world, just organizational hierarchies are sort of getting blown up. And now how your ability to self-navigate within your organization and sort of represent yourself and be your best advocate inside the organization, build your network, right? With people that don't work in your immediate organization, all of those skill sets, collaboration, those are just zooming to the top of what, are now allowing us to, better navigate our careers than maybe more formal traditional ways. So, I think whether you tell your story in Tribute, whether you tell your story on LinkedIn, whether you tell your story in the elevator in 30 seconds when you've got the CEO or head of IT next to you, I think this exercise will be useful, a useful takeaway. So there's, there's a real way to do this, to actually like figure out, what is my story? And we really think that understanding the wisdom of your lived experience is really, you could do it this way. So if you have a pen and paper, because we're going to make this interactive, I've got mine. I'd love for you to kind of recreate this chart that you see on the slide on your own piece of paper. So draw the X, Y, put a plus minus below. And really we're going to do just a series of a few things here. So really what this is an exercise of plotting your life journey map. So we're going to take 5 minutes. And I want you to put dots on the positive or negative of life experiences. You set the timeline of when it starts and begins. I set when I'm born till today. If you want to do post-college to today, first job to today, go ahead and pick that time point. But we're going to take 5 minutes to plot our individual life experiences. And here's the key. Don't put whether you think it's positive or negative in hindsight, because you'll have nothing in the negative category, right? Hindsight, everything happened for a reason. No, put the dots of how you experienced it in that moment, whether you perceived it to be a positive or negative experience. We're then going to identify key turning points, which you can sort of make circles around. If you've got trend lines, if you've got these comeback moments, right? And then what I want you to also do is put some words. What words come to mind about your particular lifeline journey that may be, that may surprise you or just come to you. So it's 12:45, at least Seattle time. We're going to do this until 12:50, and then we'll come back together, we'll share, and we'll wrap up. So we're going to do this real time, and I'm going to do it with you. So we'll put 5 minutes on the clock, and then we'll come back and we'll share ours. And I'm going to jump on mute so I don't have to hear any background, but I'll be back in 5.
Okay.
right, we've got about a minute left. So hopefully now you've got your plots and maybe you're writing a few notes to the side around some words that come to mind. Maybe you've circled a few key turning points, as I call them, in your map as we round this out. And I'll go ahead and start. And we've got 10 minutes left. So I mean, we've got plenty of time, and also we're a small group, but I'll go ahead and show you mine. You can see it kind of looks, you know, sort of like down, 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 up, down, up, down, up, down, and then all like up, 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 up at the top. And I've written some words on the side. But, you know, I think for me, doing this exercise, and truly each time I do it, I get some new insight about myself. But I don't think until I had really done this, I had done this with a CEO coach about 1.5 years ago, who really, you know, encouraged me to do my own work. But it was really interesting to see how much of like a comeback kid I am. Like every time there was something that happened, maybe more that I perceived more negatively, I would come back with a high, you know, I'd come back higher and higher and higher. So some words I wrote, you know, for me are like resilience, phoenix, this ability to handle just a lot more than maybe I give myself credit for. And then I also noticed that when I'm in the driver's seat of my personal decisions, I always made the right ones. Like a lot of the negative things that I perceived were sort of things that happened to me, not necessarily places that I like put myself in, you know. So that was another really interesting insight about me. But what it did for me, my key turning points in my life really have been, you know, the loss of my mom at 27 years old and how I came back from that. I was working at Microsoft at the time. I was her primary caregiver. Losing her at 27 just for me fundamentally changed how I showed up in the world. And so a lot of times you'll see in my story in Humans of IT that I talk about that, you know, that even though I'm this person with all this rich career experience that I could give mentorship on a variety of things, I talk about what it's like to lose a parent early on and how that helped me develop my leadership capacity. And I have a lot of women at all ages of their careers who tend to resonate with that particular story and I'll coach them or mentor them through their, you know, whether it's a loss of a parent or even just, you know, how to deal with tough things, you know, and to kind of bounce back from those tough things. You know, as an example where I was able to really narrow in, what story do I tell? I have a lot of stories, but I was able to narrow in on a story that really ultimately harvested what wisdom that I had to share on this type of exchange. So that's me. I'll just lead with that. I don't know if anyone wants to share their own observations of doing this exercise, or if you've done this before, or something maybe new that you learned about yourself having gone through this. But I'll ask if anyone is brave just to share. Yeah. And you can always put your story in tribute too, or in the Community Mentors program. So,
I found I've done this and kept record for every 7 years, plus or minus. Same thing. Saturn return happened at 28, between 27 and 29, and my mom passed also. I left Microsoft because they wouldn't give me any time off. And your exercise was good because I pointed out life transiting moments around every 7 years. But what I hadn't done was, like you had suggested, then flip that and say, okay, so that occurred, and that I could say, oh yeah, shit occurred, but I didn't turn around and then put on the upswing, the strength that was gained and the insights and what occurred after that. But my chart would be more shit occurs, and then in hindsight, you can go into a more positive, so it would go up and down instead of the curve you have there keeps going up. Mine would be going up and down. Shit happens, then you gain insight.
Yep. Mine does this. I'm currently on an upward trajectory, so you know I'm riding high. Although the life of a CEO is this every day, let me just tell you, it's not, it's not easy. And so
I think for me, I'm a little bit later in my career and my life, maybe than some of you on the phone. But I think for me, it's more of a plateau, because the things that are negative, for instance, was affected by the downsizing of a major corporation. But at the same time, I had 2 lovely grandchildren born this year. So it's kind of like, yeah, Donica said, shit happens, but there's other things that level it out, that says, some of those things are not as important as they may have been to me, like 10 years ago, where now it's like, yeah, still I need to go find a job and stuff, but I have this other part of my life that I'm enjoying that really offsets what I may have felt, 10 years ago as a downward projection. So I think it also is a relative, and depends on your experience and where you are in your life at that moment.
No, I totally agree. It's this gives me perspective every time I do the exercise, and I think it's always good to start at that altitude and then narrow into what you think your particular wisdom that you have that you'd like to share with this community. I'll go ahead and wrap it up, because I know we've got 5 minutes left. We'll share these slides too, but there's basically, the next question people ask me is, okay, well then how do I tell my story? Because I've got all these insights now, but how do I translate this? And there's basically these 2 story arcs that you can draw from. Now there's hundreds. You can go and read the stories. I love the creativity of how people decide to share their story, but having read thousands of them over the years, I think they tend to sort of gravitate towards one of these 2 arcs, which, either leads with, hi, my name is, these personal and professional identifiers, I've learned X along the journey doing Y, and this is my piece of advice. And it's a bit more of a passive exchange of wisdom. The story arc B is more of, I'm Sarah, and it dives right into the experiential wisdom, right? My experience achieving this YZ has taught me ABC. And if my story can inspire yours or can help anybody, reach out. So it's a much more active invitation. I'm an extrovert, so I'm all for story arc B. A lot of introverts prefer to go with story arc A. Not always, but you do tend to see that. But story arc B really is an invitation for people to reach out to you, even, because I've definitely heard some people say, well, I shared my story and no one reached out. How come no one's reached out to me? It's just like, so maybe add an invitation at the end for someone to reach out to. Here's some examples of stories that we have in the platform, just to show you, what this really translates to make it real. But I think, these are real people. These are real IT professionals around the world that are leading with just these amazing, incredible stories that I read all of these and I get so inspired about wanting to help and reach out. So, here's just some examples I thought that I would leave you with here. And then, of course, the best way to see examples is sign in. What the other thing I'll say is you can sign up. You don't have to tell your story immediately. So you only show in the discovery queue once you've shared a story. We did that very intentionally. So it allows you to come into the community, swipe through, discover, get to know people, get a feeling for it. And then you can go back, edit your profile and add your story. And once you've done that, then you show up in other people's views. So, feel free to kind of come in and read other people's. But really, at the end of this, we're at our time. And I want to just leave you with an invitation to join us in our community and to thank those that are already here. And keep the feedback coming to Shona, to Kathy, to myself, because we're really here to serve you at the end of the day. So I just want to leave you with that, and thank you, Kathy, for making the time and inviting me to come chat with this community. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Sarah. It's awesome having you, and just really love the app, love what you're doing, love how Sean is using it with the Humans of IT. Yeah, it's just all about support. And I was sitting here thinking about, there are lots of different places, but just like there are lots of different social medias, and some click more for some people than others. Some people just don't get into Twitter, but they love LinkedIn. And, just like with communities, there are lots of different platforms that you may find out there. We have our LinkedIn group. If that's not working, find something else, because there are people out there who are like you. Or, even if they aren't like you, the people that you can still relate to and connect to. And I really believe that we need that connection just to get through the days. So let me paste a couple things into the chat window. We are posting our recordings now on YouTube. So we've set up a Women IT Pros YouTube channel, and I also have some playlists there. We have some things that have been posted by other people before we started posting the recordings ourselves. So I just pulled those in with playlists, so you can see all sorts of things we've done there. We also have, if you want to start finding our meetings, we're also posting them out on Eventbrite, which means you can follow on Eventbrite, and then you will see everything that's going on. And we're also on Twitter and LinkedIn, and it's not just me, but there are other women hosting Women IT Pros meetings all around the world. And if you want to host one, let us know. We'll help you figure out how to do it for wherever it is that you are. And let's see. Oh, yeah. Shauna mentioned Microsoft Ignite is free. We don't have any details to share yet, but if you go sign up, go to just search for Microsoft Ignite and you can sign up. And then you'll get the information as soon as we have anything available for that. And watch social media. Follow Shauna. She'll be showing you what's going to be happening for Humans of IT at Digital Ignite. And if you're going to be going to events that are Women IT Pro focused, definitely encourage you to announce them and and hashtag it so that other Women IT Pros can find out about things. So oh yeah, Bobby's going to the Workplace Ninja Summit that I'm going to in August. There's also the WIT Regatta, which I hope to have a good announcement about soon there. So thank you, everyone. Always love having you here, and I'm going to stop the recording now.